reviewer. I make sure your movies are fine. Well, we got through the first installment and the second installment. Now we're on the third. Now let's quickly look at Land Before Time, Journey Across Time, number 3. 10 years ago, in the year 1997, a teen named Nick Frost was engulfed in a time rift. It sent him to the pre-Land Before Time world, where he befriended 3 Apatosauruses, who in time would become Littlefoot's mother and grandparents. Nick helped them on their journeys, and along the way, Nick learned of the sword that Carrie possessed a mysterious power to cause time rifts. Later, Nick sacrificed himself to save Littlefoot's mother. He was able to return to 1997, but later died for his injuries, were too great. Before dying, Nick passed his sword to a friend, a kid named Ethan Sullivan. The time the rift did not return until many years later. It was the beginning of 2009 when the time rift came and took Ethan. Now 14 years old in the rift world, Ethan had a rival, Andrew Jones, who tried to kill Ethan and enlisted the help of the Spartans in his attempt to overtake an inhabitant of the Great Valley. Ethan and the Great Valley residents overcome them. Then the rift sent Ethan back home, but 1 month later he returned. Ethan met many others in the Great Valley, and to great surprises he learned Andrew was actually still alive and planning his revenge. Andrew had allied himself with the evil Harkonnens, outnumbering and outmatched even the others to contact the House of Archimedes for help. After House of Archimedes arrived, everyone fought the Harkonnens, and Andrew was defeated for the second time. Now a new tale begins. Back again in California, Ethan walked through the neighborhood, posting posters that read, "Say no to drugs." Well, at least he's a PSA hero. While Ethan was busy doing his job, so was someone else, a girl Ethan's age with long blonde hair, who had a mysterious connection to Ethan's past. "Hey, you're helping out too?" said the girl. "Yes, of course," Ethan replied. "You're Ethan Sullivan, aren't you?" the girl asked. "Yes, I am," Ethan replied. "I'm Ada. Remember we became friends after Nick Frost died?" "How do you know about that?" Ethan asked. "Ethan, don't you remember me?" "No, I once knew a girl whose name was Ada, but I heard that she died in a car wreck," Ethan said. "And how do you know I'm not her?" "Because she died." "No, she didn't. That's what they said earlier, before I came around. It turns out that I was very much alive," Ada said. "So you're really her. You're Ada Irwin." Ethan stood back in awe. "Yes, I am," Ada replied. Ethan walked up to the girl. "You're telling me you're alive all this time?" Ada nodded. The two hugged each other. "Well, I just finished my errands," Ethan said as he walked back home. Once home, Ethan sat outside thinking of both Ava and the Great Valley. "Hey, Sullivan! I heard another rift is coming. I'll see that you never enter it," Andrew yelled from down the road. "Wait, he lives next door to his arch rival? What sense does that make?" "Quiet, Andrew," Ethan yelled back. Then Ethan thought about what Andrew had told him. I knew it was coming," Ethan said quickly. Just then, a hole appeared in the sky, the third rift. Ethan knew when he was going back. He entered for the third time, and 5 miles away, Ada was engulfed for the first time. "Darn, I was too late. But that won't matter," Andrew said from his house as he watched the rift slowly close. Andrew hurried outside into the garage. Once there he stood before his device. It was roughly the size of a home entertainment system, almost 4 feet wide and over 7 feet tall, and lined with switches. It was an invention of his, an invention to connect 2 worlds. Meanwhile, in the rift, Ethan heard a different voice. And, oh god, here we go again. It's just a recap of the first movie and what happened in the last 2 stories, okay? Skip, and what continued, blah blah blah. Oh, here we go. Ethan woke up, the same accidents, creation, clearing. Someone else lay beside him. "Ada, you're here too," Ethan said as he looked down at Ada's unconscious body. Some little motion. She was coming around. "Ethan," Ada said down as she woke. "Ada, are you alright?" Ethan said. "Ethan, where are we?" "Inside a film we saw when we were younger," Ethan replied. Ada looked around. "The Great Valley? When I first met you, Ethan, I always dreamed of being here," Ada said. "Don't worry, Ada, I've been here twice before," Ethan replied. "So when Nick left, he went inside this rift," Ada said. "Yes, but not into the Great Valley. He was somewhere outside of it, and he found the herd of migrating to it." Ethan explained. The two walked into the valley. When they reached Littlefoot's home, they found that only Littlefoot was there. Littlefoot, what the heck is going on here? Where are your grandparents? Ethan yelled, wondering where everyone else was, and irritated to see that they left Littlefoot all alone, unprotected. Yeah, why is that such a big problem? The Great Valley is supposed to be protected by a huge wall from shark teeth. I use the word suppose because, according to you, it has more holes in it than Swiss cheese. Grandpa is at the valley center, and Grandma has left the valley, Littlefoot replied. Why? Ethan asked. She's looking for Braun. Ethan, who's that with you? Littlefoot asked questioningly. This is Ada, Ethan replied. Hi, ever since I saw that, Ada started to say, but before she could say movie, Ethan definitely covered her mouth. Well, I'll explain her later. For now, I have an apatosaurus to seek out. I know your grandmother very well by now. I'm not letting her to die. We'll be back, Ethan said. Then both Ethan and Ada walked into the valley center and let everyone know that Ethan had returned. Ada had her first glimpse into the reality then. It was like a fantasy-type reality, new and surreal. At the center of the valley, they were greeted by many, including Allie, Tria, Topsy, Littlefoot's friends, Dog, Dara, and the Old One. So you are Littlefoot's girlfriend, said Ada, speaking to Allie. How did you know I had a crush on him? Allie replied, nearly giggling. Well, it's been too long, and it's good to be back, Ethan said. Old One approached Ethan. She appeared to have missed him. So I'm back, Ethan said. Yes, I know. It's good to see you again, Ethan, the Old One said as he nuzzled his head. Ethan spoke then. Well, I'm going to find Grandma Longnecks wherever she went. Yeah, she went to find Brom, you idiot. Ada, stay here. I'm going alone, Ethan said. And with that, he made a departure. On his way, he passed the volcano of the Great Valley. It was a rock symbolizing a apatosaurus. On the third day, Ethan was attacked by random carnivores, mostly raptors. You guys just don't know when to quit. Well, let's dance, Ethan said as he drew his sword and attacked the carnivores. Immediately, Ethan jumped into the air. Eat this, he yelled as he brought his sword down on the apatosaurus. Then he turned and killed a raptor. He climbed on a spinosaurus, stabbed it in the head, inflicting a brain damage before jumping off. The raptors piled up that on Ethan, who broke out of it. He slaughtered the remaining carnivores. One final raptor was limping. This is where you die, Ethan said as he decapitated the last raptor. Ethan put his sword away. He continued on to a place where Littlefoot and Sarah fought each other, while the others were watching in horror. Their footsteps remained. Suddenly, Ethan was startled from his thoughts. He heard a sound, breathing. He turned to find Grandma Longnecks lying on the ground. Why did you leave? Ethan said. She went to find fucking Braun. Were you not listening to Littlefoot earlier, you stupid asshole? I had to find Braun. No shit. He left. I was hoping that he would come back and live in the valley. Grandma Longneck replied. Braun is coming back to the valley, but don't attempt to go and search the end of the world. Ethan replied. Okay, but I should get some rest, Grandma Longneck replied. So they just let Pete fitfully. Grandma Longneck was wise to the area where carnivores attack wasn't very common. The next morning they woke up and prepared to return to the Great Valley. It took them 3 more days to reach it. Ethan walked through a familiar canyon and past the entrance of the Great Valley. Look who I found, Ethan said. Grandma, you're back, Littlefoot said. I know, Littlefoot. Ethan came and found me, Grandma Longneck replied. Where was he? Ada asked. In a place where Littlefoot and Sarah almost beat the crap out of each other, Ethan replied, wildly. I knew you would succeed, the Old One said. Don't I always know? Ethan replied, his words a testament in a cocky character. It was a huge victory for Ethan. He felt proud. Back in the real world, Andrew had to walk back into the garage. Not only was Andrew planning to connect the rip world to the real world, he was also had his own army, mainly bikers and street punks. Andrew flipped the switch of his invention, so the 2 worlds would be connected. Back at the Great Valley at night fell, unbeknownst to all but Andrew, the 2 worlds connected. Ethan was asleep, entangled by the nightmares and dreams where he was fighting Andrew in the midst of a violent thunderstorm. As they dueled, Ethan demanded an answer. Why? Why are you here, Andrew? Ethan said. Nothing will stop me from getting my revenge, Andrew sneered. What are you planning, Andrew? Ethan said. You'll be dead anyway in 6 hours, so I'll tell you, I happen to be creating a machine that has linked these 2 worlds. Now that it's done, I will claim this valley and kill you, Andrew replied. Ethan woke up, and he knew that they would be going against this time. Andrew and his own army.